Welcome to the Gloucester's Online Permitting Center. This is where you can register for the rental registry application. The first step is to either log in or sign up. If you've been in OpenGov before, whether that be for a beach sticker, dog license, any permit with the city, then you can click here to log in. You'll click on the left-hand side with the blue button and log in there. You'll need your email and your password. If you've never been to OpenGov, then you can click this button and click Sign Up using Secure Portal. So first, I will show you what it looks like when you click Sign Up. It'll bring you to the login page, and you'll have to select Sign Up on the right-hand side. This will prompt you to enter your email and a password that you can create. If you've already been to OpenGov, then you can simply log in. Great, so once you're logged in, you can use the search tab at the top to search for rental registry. It should auto-populate. And this will bring you to the information about the application. Once you're there, you'll click Apply Online. Since I was already an active member with OpenGov, it auto-populated all of my information. So for me, this is correct. If you are an active user, then it should auto-populate for you as well. If you're a new user, then you will just have to fill in this information. Once that's complete, you'll hit Next. This is where you will search for your rental property address. For this video, I'm going to use the City Hall Annex, so I'll do 3 Pond Road. This is where it shows the property owner information. If you need to change the name or any of the other options on this page, you can do so now. Once that's updated, you'll click Next. The first question, you will select Yes if you changed anything on the previous page. If nothing was changed, you will select No. This is asking that you ensured the information on the previous page is correct and has the current owner. So I'm going to select Yes. This is asking if the property is owned by an individual owner or a legal entity. A legal entity includes an LLC, a trust, an S corporation, and a corporation. So you can select whatever is correct for your property. For this, I'm going to choose individual owner. Next is asking if you have a property manager. So this would be a company that you hire to manage your property and might even be the person that's filling out this application. If you have one, then you can select Yes and click Next. This is where you'll enter the information of the property management company. As an example, I'm just going to put Gloucester Health Department, and you can see that you'll need their first, last name, email address, phone number, and their address. But since I don't have a property manager, I'm going to click Back and then select No, so I don't have to complete that page, just for the purpose of this example. So emergency contact information can either be your personal information, or it could be the person who is closest to your rental unit that we would contact, we as the health department, in case of an emergency. So if you live out of state and you have a local person that would be able to be contacted, you could put their information. Otherwise, you can put your own. And there's 3 different options for the type of people that can be put on this list. If you, the owner, put your information, you would be the operator. Representative of property management company, if that's your information, then that's what you select. And anything else would be the 3rd option. So for this, I'm just going to put my contact information. Okay, and I am the operator. this is where you are going to select what type of property you have for a rental. For the purpose of this example, I'm going to choose 2 units. And also for the purpose of this example, I am going to select that yes, my building was built prior to 1978. Is there more than one building on the property? So if you have 2 homes on one property, this would be a yes. If you have a house and a small shed, that would be a yes. So I'm going to say no, my 2 units are in one home. So that's where I'll fill out 2 units. This is where I will select my water, and I'm going to say that I have city water, but I have a septic system. So data capture for each rental unit. This is where you're going to enter the information for each unit that you have. If you live in one of the units, you will still enter information for that unit as the owner. So the building identifier is either the name of the building. If you have a big apartment complex, it could be building A, building 10. Otherwise, if it's just one home, then it would be the address. So for this example, it'll be 3 Pond Road. And the unit number, I have 2 units, so it would be unit 1, or it could be unit A, whatever you use to identify that unit. My unit 1 is on the 1st floor and has 3 bedrooms. ADU stands for accessory dwelling unit. You would most likely know if you had an accessory dwelling unit because when it was built, it would have been designated as one by the building department. So for this, I'm going to say no. And the example I gave previously, if you live in a unit if you live in the house that you're also renting in, you would still enter the information about the unit that's owner occupied. And this is where you're going to acknowledge that. So I live on the 1st floor of my home, but there is a second unit that I rent out on the 2nd floor. So this is where I would select yes because I live in unit 1 on the 1st floor and I am the owner of the building. Next question is affordable housing. If your home is an affordable housing unit, then it would be registered with a local organization or with the state or some other entity saying that it is an affordable unit. This does not mean that you think your unit is affordable. It might be, but if it's not registered with an organization, then the answer would be no. So for the purpose of this example, I'm going to select yes for a short-term rental. The reason I'm selecting yes is because there are a few other questions that populate for short-term rentals. Long-term rentals don't have as an extensive questions that are asked. So again, for this example, I'm going to select short-term. And short-term is 30 days or less. Seasonal would refer to if you rent your unit for, say, 3 months in the winter or 6 months in the winter, or someone rents the property for 3 months in the summer. That would be a seasonal property. And then anything longer than that would be considered long-term. So this is the information for my first unit. Actually, I'm going to switch this back to long-term because I live in this unit. I live in this unit. And the next unit, I will fill out short-term to show you an example of that. So again, the building identifier, it's the same building because this unit is on the 2nd floor. This is going to be unit 2 in my house. On the 2nd floor, they also have 3 bedrooms. It is not an ADU because it was not designated one when I built it. And this is not owner occupied. This is the renter that I have in my home. And again, this is not an affordable housing unit. This is where I'm going to select a short-term rental so I can show you the options that pop up for short-term rentals. Okay, so now that you have all of this information, you're going to move on to the next step. This step is where you want to acknowledge the lead poisoning regulations. So to open this document, you'll hover over this tab and right-click. Then you'll select Open Link in New Tab. This will ensure that you don't lose your spot on the application. And then the new document will be up at the top. So you'll want to scroll through this document and make sure you understand all of the regulations. For the purpose of this video, I'm not going to scroll through the entire thing, but please make sure that you do. So I'm going to go back to where I was on the application and select that I've acknowledged and read and understand the information. Then we'll click Next. This is another document that you're going to open in the same way, so you'll right-click and open Link in New Tab. It'll be at the top. So this popped up because I selected that my home was on a septic system. If you are on city sewer, then you won't be prompted to open this document. But if you are on septic, then again, it's very important to read through this document and understand everything that is inside of it. Again, for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to scroll through the whole thing, but you should. Now I'm going to go back to the application, and I am going to acknowledge that I read the document. This one requires that you provide a digital signature, so you can type your name, and then sign. Okay, this is the last document that you have to open in a new tab and read. This might be one of the most important ones because it's acknowledging your rights as a landlord as well as your tenant's rights. The first 19 pages here is mass law broken down into easier terms, so it's a more comprehensible document. So it's really important to read through this so both parties understand their rights and their responsibilities. Again, the first 19 pages have these pictures and easy to read sentences. And then once you get past these pictures, if you have questions about any of these, on the right-hand side, you'll see a column that says sanitary code. And these are the numbers that the sentences are referring to in mass law. So for example, an operable exterior window must have all glass in place unbroken and properly sealed. And this comes from CMR 410.270. And if you have questions about that and want to read the full law, you can click right here and it'll bring you exactly to that place in the state law. So after page 19, this is where you will see the full document from the state. So again, these bullet points can be a little more difficult to understand. However, they're all referenced at the top with those pictures and short bullet points. So I'm going to scroll back up to show you one more example. Okay, here we have hot water. An owner shall provide for and maintain in good operating conditions facilities capable of heating and delivering hot water that meets the following conditions. I want to know more about that, so I'm going to click on this number over here, and it'll bring me to the law right here, hot water. And this is where you can fully read that rule. So once you've gone through this document and feel that you understand where you stand as a landlord and your tenant's rights and responsibilities, you can go back to your application and sign. And then click Next. This question is asking where you would want us to mail any correspondence. So if you live in Gloucester, you can check this here, and it'll auto-populate the street or the city and zip code, so you don't have to type it in. This question is asking if you want to receive any emails from the health department regarding any updates about new opportunities or any changes in the application. So I'm going to select yes. And you can always opt out at a later time if you decide you don't want to receive emails anymore. This question is regarding the building department short-term rental permit that they had for a few months at the beginning of the year. This went live before the rental registry application went live, and roughly about 100 people filled out that short-term rental permit. So if you are one of those people and you've already completed that short-term rental permit, it would have been done a few months ago, then you're going to select no, even if you have a short-term rental. So for me, I'm going to say no because I already filled out a short-term rental permit with the building department a few months ago. And if that's the case, you would press next. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to select yes, and I'm acting as if I'm someone who has a short-term rental that did not fill out a short-term rental permit with the building department on OpenGov a few months ago. And I'm going to choose this selection just so I can show you how to fill out the next steps. So this is bringing you to the short-term rental permit. Again, if you have already filled this information out with the building department a few months ago, then you're going to want to click the back button and select no here. I'm selecting yes just to show the people that haven't completed that permit. So first, I'm going to acknowledge that this is the short-term rental permit through the building department. And now I'm going to click next. So I'm the operator. I'm going to put my name in here. And I'm the owner. Put my email address, phone number, and then my certificate. Sometimes it starts with a C and then it's followed by a bunch of numbers. This is just verifying the street address of the short-term rental, my number of bedrooms, and I'm on septic, and I'm not in affordable housing. I offer this rental for a few weeks in the summer. And I do not live in this particular unit. I live in one of the units, but I don't live in the short-term unit. For me, I operate the short-term rental, so I'm going to put my name. So this just explains a little bit more about the short-term rental requirement. It says local registration is only applicable to a residential unit that is offered for short-term rental for more than 15 days per calendar year. You do not need to complete this application or pay any fees to legally rent this unit for 15 or fewer days per year. So once you read that, you can attest that and sign your name. This is where you need to upload a few required documents. So the picture of the driver's license is required for all short-term rentals, and the picture of the deed is as well. Regarding the septic maintenance agreement and the copy of the rental advertisement, that'll only be triggered if you select that you have a septic system. If you don't have a septic maintenance agreement because you don't have an INA system, then you can simply upload an old pump report or your most recent pump report or invoice, any correspondence you have with that hauler company that maintains your system. We're just making sure that you are keeping up with your septic maintenance. If you don't have a copy of that, then we can try and look on our end in the health department to see if the company has sent us the most recent copy of your pump report. Regarding the rental advertisement, if you rent by word of mouth and you don't actually post, that's totally okay. You can simply type up a document, handwrite a document, whatever you prefer, stating that you advertise by word of mouth. Or if you don't advertise and you have the same people that come every year, you can do that as well. But you want to acknowledge in the advertisement, this is a blank bedroom unit. For example, I would say my unit is a 3-bedroom unit and I'm not actively advertising. I have the same people that come every year for my short-term rental. If you're a long-term renter, then you can say, I have had the same tenant for 15 years. I'm not actively advertising. If I were to advertise, I would tell people that it's a 3-bedroom unit. And this is to make sure that you're not advertising the unit for more bedrooms than the septic system was built. Because if you advertise for a 6-bedroom home when your septic system is only built for a 3-bedroom unit, it's going to overflood the septic system and cause a lot of health issues down the line. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to upload random documents. And you can do so by clicking upload, and then you'll select the document that you have and open it. Again, I'm not uploading the correct documents here. I'm just trying to show you how to upload them. You simply click the blue button and you select here. You can have any of these documents stored anywhere on your computer. I'm just uploading an old receipt as an example. And then I'm clicking next. So this is where you want to confirm your submission and all the information that you've put in. A lot of people get stuck at this point because they don't realize they have to actually click submit. You can click save draft and exit, but you don't want to do that if you are ready to submit the application. You actually want to scroll all the way to the bottom. Again, making sure everything is correct. You can ignore my random letters here. I was just clicking through to show you how to use the application. So you'll scroll all the way to the bottom, making sure everything's correct, and then you click confirm and submit. All right, and congratulations, you finished the rental registry application. So this is the part where you can pay either credit card, cash, check, or another method. If you do choose to pay by cash or check, please write down your permit number on the check or make a note with the cash that you send in. What you need to put on your check and with the cash is your permit number, which is up on the left-hand side. It's going to be this number right here, RRST. Your number will be different from mine, but it's going to be in the same format. And that number is really important because this is your permit number. If you want to pay by credit card, you can do so right here just by selecting that. And then you click Pay Now. And this is where you enter all of your information. If you are paying by cash or check, there's nothing to do on your end besides simply mail it to our department, the health department, and make the check out to the city of Gloucester. Or you could also, you can mail it in or you can drop it off as well. If you are paying for a short-term rental permit, as well as the $30 rental registry fee, we ask that you put them on different checks because the short-term rental fee is going to the building department and the rental registry fee is going to the health department. There is also sometimes a fee from the fire department. If you can put that on a separate check as well, that would be great. That way each department gets the appropriate fee that they need to collect. But other than that, you have completed the application. The only other way that you wouldn't want to pay is if you had a previous rental dwelling certificate. It would have to be active, but if you have one from the past probably 6 years or maybe 1 or 2 years, we're happy to look it up for you, then you wouldn't want to pay this fee and you would just want to let us know that you completed the application and you're looking for the fee to be waived because you already had an active rental dwelling certificate. But that should be everything, and if you have any questions, you can give the health department a call at 978-325-5260. Thank you so much for watching this video.